Let's do this. I'm ready. So, well, the goal of this podcast was to go over most, if not all, the messages that you sent in June to the group chat for Men's Health Month,
Mm-hmm.
Men's Health Awareness Month in June. And I know that we are now quite literally on the last days of August talking about this, but I think we can still talk about it. Um, and you did post something every single day from the day that you started. So that was consistent and the messages were good. So I kind of wanted to walk through them and talk about them, each of them as we can.
Right.
So the first three I can kind of group together since they're shorter. On June 4th, which is kind of when you started,
Mhm.
you said, take care of yourself, process your emotions. Or June 4th, you said, take care of yourself. June 5th, you said, process your emotions. And June 6th, you said, before you close off, ask for help.
Facts.
So where did those come from?
Um, just kind of the norm. Obviously men like we're just conditioned, to force things to work. And if they don't, then just kind of like take the L in silence and whatever emotional toll kind of comes with that, just kind of roll with it.
Yep.
Um, so it's very just kind of like what makes us so resilient. After a particular time, it kind of like starts kind of like wearing down the tread, so to speak, on our
Hmm.
souls. So, like I said, take care of yourself. Kind of be mindful of those actions. Um, then the second one was, what was the second one?
Process your emotions.
Process your emotions. Process like where your head is going, before you do things. Because obviously,
Yeah.
men, we don't cue into that too much. I think men we most commonly express anger or happiness. Like there's not really a really good scale for a lot of men. I've just noticed, even for me. Um, and then obviously whatever emotion that you're having, just make sure that you're in tune with it. You know what it is, and then before you close off, just ask for help because obviously when
Yeah.
we can't figure stuff out, we most commonly know men, even myself, which I'm trying to get better at. I just don't make people privy to what's going on in my personal life, especially when it comes to my health. I'll just kind of grit my teeth and find workarounds, duct tape everything, for lack of better words.
Right. Right.
So yeah, I think it's just important for us to
Classic.
be open about that.
Hmm. And I think that goes into your last thing about before you close off, ask for help.
Mm, yeah, I mean, there have been plenty of times where my health has been compromised, physically, um, and I think like maybe months into it, I'm just kind of like, man, like why am I deliberately choosing not to tell people, about what's going on in my body? Uh, and I really honestly just couldn't figure it out. But I know it's kind of a combination of that mentality of, oh, you're a man, you don't ask for help. We don't do that here.
Hmm.
um,
Yeah.
but also a combination of pride of just simply wanting to be able to get through it myself because it does kind of like help me. I guess it kind of helps me kind of like, okay, you can get through this if you just kind of buckle down and just do it. So
Right.
it's a little bit of an ego thing. And also a little bit of that kind of like, pushing your conditioning. But
Hmm.
sometimes too much conditioning can be bad for you. So there's a humble balance there, in all honesty. So
Yeah.
still working
Okay.
working on that one.
Yeah, it was gonna be conveniently timed with yesterday, but I guess it's conveniently timed with today. I listened to a podcast, again, as I do, and they were talking about, well, it was Esther Perel, who's a very, very, um, high ticket couples therapist and psychologist. But they were talking about first men and women's differences, and then it got kind of tangented into the topic of men's loneliness,
Mhm,
and a lot of the same topics they were talking about there were like men don't really talk. Men are much more separated now. Even growing up, you know,
mhm,
you don't talk about certain things. Your friend groups are certain ways. The people that you hang out with, the people that you see, the people that you like, even as a guy, like handshake, shoulder touch, like hug. They're like at some point you like grow out of that, or you're forced to grow out of that because it's not manly to like hug
Mhm.
or touch each other as like it really sounds bad when you say touch each other, but it just means like actually just like a buddy to buddy contact, right? Like arm
Right,
on the shoulder, elbow on the shoulder, like a
right,
little like nudge, like things like that. Men don't do that as much anymore.
right.
I've been watching SWAT with my wife over the past couple months, and there's a character in there called Dominic Luca, who's one of the members,
Yeah,
and
that's cool. I watched it.
so like Luca's like personality in the show is exactly what like triggered this thought of mine. Because
Mhm.
like with everybody, he's always so like touchy, like
Right.
hand on the shoulder, punching them, always like personable, always empathetic. And I was like, men aren't like that anymore. They
Mhm.
weren't like that before COVID, and they especially aren't like that now after COVID.
Right.
Um, but yeah, we don't like allow physical contact like
Mm.
that. And I feel like if we did more, we'd be more on each other's side
Mhm.
as opposed to always going against the man in any situation or not going against the man in a situation, but just like, you know, because this guy isn't on your side, maybe he has different beliefs than you. Maybe he just like doesn't live his life the way you would choose to. You don't still support this person because they're not on
Mhm.
your side, type of
Right.
thing. But going forward to June 7th, you said seek understanding beyond your comprehension, whether it be man, spiritually, or religion. You don't have all the answers. Sway.
Literally. You just I mean, you don't. Again, I think, I do think one of the again, the many things that make men great is our resilience, and our determination to literally make things like force things to work,
Mhm.
even when it doesn't make sense. Like I always think about it kind of like, you know, in a weird childish way, watching man as a child, putting like, okay, the circle goes where the circle is, the diamond goes where the
Right.
diamond is, and then men will find ourselves in one of those pieces that is just like, it just won't work. It's just like, why won't this work? Why won't this work? Why won't this work? Well, men will either force or find a way to shove that piece in there or will shave it down to where it does fit. Um,
Yep.
but in a weird way, you don't understand like that is literally, you know, it's part of your soul. Like you're shaving it down.
Mhm.
You're not supposed to. Um,
Yeah.
Sometimes saving a piece of yourself is asking for help, like taking that extra burden off your shoulders. And
Yep.
sometimes that does come in the form of just uh, physically asking somebody, spiritually, um, religiously, if
Mhm.
that's for you or whatever the case may be. Because again, even the Bible says, seek not your own understanding. You don't have all the answers. You're not gonna understand it. And I personally think that's okay. Um, I think where again the strength is supposed to come from is like, okay, we've seen this before. I've seen this issue before. I'm familiar with it. Last time I went and asked for help. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, the answer I got was X, Y, and Z. And I realized that I actually could do it on my own. I just simply needed someone or something to educate me on what the best choice is.
Mhm.
Whether that be, you know, prime example like heartache or whatever the case may be. I've
Yeah.
I've tailspin before to where I've just pretty much shut down, you know, threw myself literally into the gym and just did nothing else but work. Um,
Right.
but what I really needed to do was to talk to a friend. I have this saying, any traumatic experience, turn it into a household item. Basically take
Mm.
take take the power out of it.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer. I don't like whispering about um, traumatic events in um, closed spaces or personal spaces. Like if I'm comfortable talking with somebody, it's kind of like hypothetically, like like my ex. Like I'm not about to tiptoe around my ex's name. Like you are very much a,
Mhm.
a household thing to me now.
Yeah.
I'm not about to like, oh well, you know who? No, no, because that takes the power out of you.
Mhm.
So I don't believe in that type of stuff. So I think it's important for us to, when you do learn something, when you do seek understanding and you've gotten that lesson, okay, the strength. And the pride in being able to solve that is understanding that I've been to this before. I know how to handle this. Um, and I can get through this on my own. You
Yeah.
know, it saves yourself a lot of emotional heartache versus just beating your head up against a wall trying to figure out something that you're probably not going to get because you're just not privy to it right now. You're tunnel visioning, you're spiraling, your mind
Mhm.
won't settle to see the common sense answer, just the answer that's right in front of you. Sometimes you need that
Yeah.
friend or spiritual or religious um, answer, you know, or
Mhm.
anointing, or just you need help.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's fair, that's fair. When asking for change, be prepared to be uncomfortable.
Whew.
This one hits.
It does. It what do they say? You can't pray for the rain and get mad at the mud.
Mhm.
So it's just one of those things to where like you want change, and okay, be prepared to let go of who you were. That's all there is to it. You're not gonna you can't stay stagnant and expect forward progression. And I know I'm just dropping sayings at this point, but it is very much that. Like that one is probably very
Mhm.
self-explanatory. I think people just, especially, you know, well, everybody wants change externally, but they don't want to change
Right,
internally. And I
right.
think that's, I guess, I'm at the age of 36. I've realized that a lot of things that I have the ability to change in my life, I've always started internally first. Um,
Mhm.
I didn't realize how many things, like they say, like I always despise that, like, oh, don't stress over things outside of your control. And it's just like, man, I hate that idea. Like that's
Mm.
I despise it. And of course, again, that's just me being hard headed and just accustomed to being able
Yeah,
to change things when I want to.
yeah.
Um, but when I realized that I started changing things within me, my environment and circumstances started to change. Um,
Mhm.
so it's just you um can't complain about change if you're not prepared, or if you're asking and praying and begging for it, and then all of a sudden when you get the opportunity to change, you're just like, oh, I don't like this is uncomfortable. Like I personally steer away from people like that. I don't really,
Yeah.
I guess it's harsh to say I don't like people like that, but those are usually the people that um blame everything else. They blame everything externally and will never take responsibility for what's going on with them internally. So yeah,
Mm.
you just got to be prepared for change when it comes to you.
See, there's more on that, but I wanna keep going forward for now.
Mhm.
Sit down and meditate for 10 minutes. Just explore your thoughts and reasons for your decision making.
Yeah,
I've been meditating
that's good.
for only for the past week, man, but only because not like an introspective form of meditating, but just more like a deep breath work meditation to get me out of like a distracted mode
Mhm,
to get me ready for like the next task at hand.
mhm,
Because a lot of the times when you're like doing something, or maybe it's an hour of doing little tasks all the time, like
mhm,
throughout that hour. And so you're just like your brain is scattered. You're listening to music, you listen to a podcast, you listen to a video. So you're just like everywhere. But you need to now sit and focus on
mhm,
some one thing. And it's very hard to if you just try and go immediately into one set of tasks into the next.
right.
I'll lay on my back on the floor and just close my eyes, palms up, and just focus on the breath.
Mhm,
And I've the way I like describe it to people is like when you have like a colander or a sieve and you're like straining out all the distraction thoughts that are like falling out of the holes.
mhm,
And so all you're left with is like, here are the isolated main things that I need to do.
mhm,
And all the other like thoughts have fallen away. So that's been really helpful.
yeah. Yeah, no, that's important, bro. I mean, just you'll be surprised, like, how much, things that would just kinda come to you when you just sit and be still. Like,
Mhm.
no distractions at all. You'll be very in tune with how much, your mind is accustomed to constantly receiving information, whether that's being on your phone, music, your thoughts about the day, work, etcetera, stuff like that. I don't think it's I think it's, I'm not gonna say I don't think it's healthy, but I definitely think it's something that you should probably tune into
Mhm.
if you can't sit still for like 2 or 3 minutes without your mind wandering into some task that you have to do. Like, you really have to train yourself to kinda like, "All right, let me tune out all the noise," because obviously in this day and age,
Yeah.
like, a phone is a constant distraction. It's just something
Right.
to occupy your time. So when I started doing it, I had to do the whole, visualizing the ocean. Um, I would even kinda, do the old school turn on Lo-Fi Girl on YouTube.
Shout out Lo-Fi Girl.
Yeah, and just literally turn off all the lights, put my back against a wall, and just sit and set a timer for like. Now I'm up to about 30 minutes. I can do that
Nice.
for about 30 minutes and just kind of every now and then something will come to me, but then I'll immediately go back to the ocean um,
Mhm.
and just kind of like put it off or whatever the case may be. But before I could only get up to about 5 to 10 minutes, and that
Right.
was surprisingly stressful. But once I kind of conditioned myself to just like, all right, here we go. That first 2 minutes is kind of like a calibration, and then after that, it's just kind of like coasting. And I just
Yeah.
keep thinking about an empty space or just like a constant void, and just allow myself to kind of drift. So yeah.
It's crazy because those 30 minutes probably saved you 2 hours of distractedness for the rest of your day just because you spend 30 minutes doing that. Because I think about that, and that's a lot of the times why I, like, sometimes talk myself out of not doing something like meditating because I'm like, "Oh, I don't wanna spend 10 minutes doing that when I could start on the task I'm trying to start on."
Mm,
And it's and it comes from my or the side of my brain that wants to control every little bit of time that I have in the day, even though I'm very bad about spending an hour and a half on my phone in the morning as soon as I wake up. But
right.
I'm not willing to meditate for 10 minutes, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So, it's been a talk that I've had to have with myself where, it's thinking about the future you instead of the present you, of,
Mm,
like, you have 2 hours of tasks going forward. This 10 minutes will make sure those 2 hours are fruitful.
mm,
But if you don't spend this 10 minutes now, it'll make sure those 2 hours are wrought with distractions,
mm,
overthinking, not focused, work, and not being present. So it's like 10 minutes can save you so much time. Then 30 minutes can save you so many days, in my opinion,
yeah.
um, even if you have to do it every day. So meditation is dope. I have tried it before and it never worked, so I'm just glad that I found a way to make
Mhm.
it work, right?
That's
Like
good.
meditation, journaling, instead of journaling like in a full journal, I'll put it into the mini,
Mhm.
right? And it's just like 5, 10 words a day as opposed to like sentences. And that has made it to where I can actually keep up with this instead of like an actual journal.
Is
Now I
that
may miss a day here or there.
is that a camera or is that like an audio
Oh no,
recording?
this is a journal. It is a mini journal that you can unlatch,
Mm,
and it's
okay.
like five. They basically took like five mini journals and like etched it into one big one and put like a latch on it and shit. So I can just
Mm,
I basically just come in here and write on one page a day.
mm,
So it's like I said, like 5 words, 10 words. A lot of
mm,
it is self-deprecating because I'm still in that zone of life where I keep like doing shit that I don't want to do, and I keep yelling at myself after the fact that I do it
mhm.
instead of like nicely talking to myself before doing the thing that I don't like. Um, but it's helped. It's helped me keep track of things at least.
I used to
Um, you know,
video log a lot. Um,
I've tried that.
yeah,
Um,
just to
it
kind
just
of
got
I used to kind of like I guess for me it was like let me see entirely like how's my posture, you know, my weight, what I'm talking
yep,
about,
yep,
my hair. Like I'll look at
mhm,
everything and be like, okay, you were like this about a year ago. Because I actually deleted everything that was on my camera or on my laptop because I used to prop my camera up and just like, okay, do the whole like, all right, September 2024, whatever the
yep,
case may be, stuff like that. And it helped for a little bit. Um, and it was just kind of like, all right. And I went back and looked at some of those videos and I was just like, man, you were in a pretty bad place, you know,
mm,
even the way I was just talking and just kind of
yep,
just expressing, the inner thoughts and stuff like that. And a lot of it was just kind of like, "Oh, just keep going, like, you're gonna make it," and stuff like that, and, like and it was just like, man, like, at what point did I get there? Like, when did I not questioning, whether I wanted to be here anymore, but it was just kinda like, what was my reason for being here? Like, I'm so accustomed to
Mhm.
being a workhorse, and just
Yep.
blindly running forward and stuff like that, provide, 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 but then when I was given all this extra time, it was just kind of like, now I have to reflect and see who it is that you want to be, because I think we all want to be more than just simply, not to downplay it, but I think we all want to be someone more than just simply, a husband or just a wife or just somebody that just goes to work and gets old and has a bunch of health issues. It's just,
Yep.
I didn't want that. So it,
Yeah.
it gave me time, and understanding. So
Yeah.
regardless of how people do it, I do think it's important to just meditate and just sit and be still, you know, appreciate the quietness and stillness. Um,
Yeah.
and then also kind of going back and actually expressing those thoughts once you've had a moment. So you can kind of follow up back to see where you were maybe months, days, or years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. I've appreciated the art of taking things out of your brain,
Mhm,
given that I'm somebody who just likes to contain everything in my brain, thinking that, like, my brain's the safest place for it to be,
mhm,
but because everything's in there, you get you get jumbled up, you get distracted, you get, like, off course.
mhm,
So, taking things out of your brain into something else, whether it's the video or the writing or your music, your dance, like, whatever it is, right? Like, getting it out,
mhm.
ha I think it just, like, opens up mental space,
Right.
um, for something else to come in if it wants to, or for you just to have space, right? Like, a couple of months ago, I was thinking about the brain as like a computer of, like,
Mhm,
how your whenever your computer gets, um the memory gets too full, it starts slowing down, starts chugging, starts shutting down on itself.
mhm.
And the best way to fix it is delete shit or get it out of there into something else,
Right.
like your external hard drive. So, like, why not treat the brain the same way?
Mhm,
Um, so whenever I catch myself ruminating, feeling like nothing I do is ever gonna work, why do I keep trying, all that stuff, I'm like, it's probably because 'cause you've just been in your brain a lot. Try and get it
mhm,
out, try and get it down. Um, so then this one's very short. Build or destroy.
mhm, mhm.
Simple.
Yeah.
Put that on a shirt.
Yeah. Yeah. It it's very simple. Uh, it kind of goes back to that, men inherently, because we are strong, have the ability to physically and literally disrupt society. Like, regardless, anger doesn't, and anger and suffering and just unchecked emotion doesn't really need to be harnessed. Like, you don't have to do anything for it.
Mhm.
Just let it fester, and it'll
Yeah.
it'll explode somewhere. And I think in a lot of places and a lot of times, if those things are not checked, or learned to be,
Mhm.
expressed in a healthy way, so that way it doesn't
Yeah.
explode, it will destroy.
Yeah.
And I think in the same capacity, someone who does have their emotions checked has had the opportunity to express them in a healthy way. They can use those same emotions to build um,
Mhm.
something great or extraordinary, or at the very least, if it's not anything that's going to be great, it'll at least kind of help, the day to day.
Yeah.
Have a lot of insecurities about, as far as like, weight, health issues, things of that nature, and I'm able to express those emotions with, close friends and family and stuff like that. But if I never had that opportunity to speak about it, I could take those negative intentions and pass them on, or negative thoughts and pass those on onto someone else. Your
Mhm.
habits often turn into environments for other people. Um, so it's very important for people to kind of, or for especially for men to understand that like we all have power. Like they say, men have they. I can't remember who it was, but men have the power of the hand. Women have the power of tongue.
Mm,
Men can destroy with their hands. Women can destroy with their tongue. Um,
mm,
so yeah, you got to make a choice. You're either going to build or destroy. Because even like I said, sitting and doing nothing is still destroying, whether it be you or the
yeah,
people who surround yourself by. So
yeah.
pretty
Because I mean, I feel
straightforward.
like it's very easy to think about it like the world is still moving. So if you're
Mm,
not moving with it, you're technically behind now. You're technically
facts.
falling behind if something else is going forward. Like it's like you standing on a treadmill that's going backwards, and everybody
Right.
else is going forwards.
Yeah.
Um, there was a there was something I heard the other day, and I can't remember where it was from, but it might have been something, a post I saw on Twitter or something where there um excuse me.
Oh, that's
Excuse me in the
smoking.
mic.
Smoking catching up to you, brother.
Yeah, man, I always say it's all the cigarettes I've never had in my life. It's they were talking about how nowadays people are having children later,
Mm,
getting married later, finding partners later,
mm,
and um, I think the post was talking about in a way it was saying that it was people are being either selfish or too like you know only for themselves with their time as opposed to like with time with somebody else, having a child, raising that child, etc. Because like the biggest thing, the best thing to happen to anybody is a child. And my immediate reaction to that, which I think is still the same. One sec. Fuck this shit, bro. I hate phlegm. My immediate reaction to that was people have the ability to actually make something of themselves
mm,
for the first time ever in society
mm,
before they bring a child into the world that they can't provide for.
mm,
So why would they not take that opportunity? And maybe they don't even want a child, and that's a different story. But
mm,
like, if somebody wants to build something first, to then share that something with the people that they're bringing into the world,
mm,
I feel like that's better. Now, does it decrease the rate of births and does it decrease, all that stuff, or just decrease like people around us and all? Maybe. Who knows? Yes, we are having less marriages or maybe not less marriages, but less births overall as a society because people
mm,
stopped fucking. Um, to have kids.
mm.
But,
Right. To have kids. I don't know.
to have
I don't
kids.
know.
Yeah, to have
Right.
kids. Um, but it just makes me think, like, we like to build things,
Mm,
and we actually have the opportunity to do that now.
mm,
So, that's why this conversation about sometimes, "Oh, you should be having kids early and having a lot of them and, enjoying a great big family and all that stuff," and it's like, well, sure, for some people.
mm,
But for others, they probably like the extra security, the financial security of having built and made something of themselves first, so that the addition of a $50,000 kid doesn't like destroy the entire like stability that they have,
right.
right?
Yeah.
So
No,
the
I agree with that wholeheartedly. Because I mean, they've said it before. Like the cost of living has gone up. Like what did they say? I can't remember what it was, but I remember. I think it was the. I can't remember. I just know that the cost of living, at least in the DFW Metroplex, in the last 12 years or 2020, I'm sorry,
mhm,
15 years has quadrupled. So it's just like, when I was 21 years old, there was a loft. I used to live in American Beauty Mill Lofts, and a 925 square foot loft was $825 a month.
that's
Like
so nice.
right, you can't find that anywhere in the DFW Metroplex, 15 years later. Like the cheapest that you're
Yeah,
gonna get that a loft, and that was right next to DFW or right next to downtown Dallas. I randomly just looked it up. Like the starting for I think like a 700 square foot at the top, which, or I'm sorry, at the bottom because most people prefer to be at the top because of like the view and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Started at seven is at 17 now. So it's just like
Yeah.
you're literally paying like double that, you know, and
Yeah.
it's just like
The cost of
everywhere that
living, it says, has increased like 20% at least over the past decade, like over like all.
Mhm.
But like most of that is housing.
Right.
Most of that average increase is all housing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Makes me angry.
that's mind blowing. So it's just like, that's why I always love those jokes when grandparents, "Oh, by your age, I had 3 kids and a house and da 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 da." I was like, "Yeah, because your house, like your entire mortgage was $1,200." Like,
Bro, yeah, like I hate listening to those stories of people online when they're like, "Yeah, I bought a house and after I paid it off, I the interest that I paid was more than the actual cost of the house."
mhm,
Or like, "I'm still
right,
paying off because I've only paid X amount towards my principal and it's all been interest." I'm like, "Dude, it constantly makes me second guess the decision I made to buy a house."
mhm,
Like, constantly, because I know I bought it for more reason than just I want a house, right? There's other
mhm,
reasons behind it, but it constantly makes me second guess that decision of, like, what else could I have been doing with the money? Like, was it actually necessary at the time?
mhm,
Could I have done without it? Would I be here right now? Would I be who I am right now if I didn't have it? Like, those kind of things.
mhm,
I don't know, but it constantly makes me second guess myself, just to see how, like, bad it is for everybody else.
yeah.
No,
It's
I
r
haven't
it's
I
rough,
haven't
man.
felt how bad it is. I'm sure it's bad for me too in a way, but I just haven't felt it yet. So
Yeah,
I'm not haven't put my foot longer on there yet.
yeah. That's why I rented first because I wanted to see, I rented for a year and a half because I wanted to see honestly, what that would be like.
Right.
Just to kinda like, "Alright, this is what it feels like, honestly, to manage a three-bedroom house." And it
Mhm.
was great, repairs were much more detrimental than it would be if I was in an
They
apartment.
hurt, bro.
Super hurt, 'cause I'll never forget the first year that I was in my apartment complex. I moved in there in September, my AC unit went out in October, and it was fixed
Mhm.
by the middle of, November, and I'll never forget this because the, I had to get what is his name? I'll never forget his name, but the gentleman had to come basically repair. He had to replace the AC unit altogether. And I'll never forget. I'm like, hey, this needs to be repaired. It's dropping. It's like I can hear it clicking. One of the fan blades is broken and stuff like that. And he just, barely kind of spoke a lick of English. And I know he was trying to hustle me, but he was just like, oh well, you don't really need a new one. It's about to be cold outside anyway. I almost cussed this dude out. I was just like, "I don't give a damn if it's about to be cold outside. Like, bro,
Yeah.
I'm paying for this. You're gonna come fix this, bro, or I'm gonna call, the housing department." Like, I was like, "We're about to have a serious problem." Like, literally
Yeah.
said, "It's about to get cold outside, so you don't need the AC." I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't care if I wanted 30 degrees in my house all the time. Like, come fix this." And like, I called up. He got sent one letter. Was there the next day with a brand new AC unit. I was
Yeah.
just like, "Man, I cannot believe you. I can't believe you said
Yeah,
that."
it's tough. It's
No.
tough. I had to replace mine 2 years ago. I still think about it to this day. Um, and the tenants that we have living in the house now, like, an issue happened with the AC unit again this summer after me just getting a new one 2 years ago,
Mhm.
and I looked at that bill and I was like, "Man, fuck this house."
Yeah, bro.
That's
That's
just
how
how it is.
I told myself for sure I won't be, definitely won't be doing like, getting a house until married for sure. Like financing a house, like, I won't be doing that or get a mortgage or anything.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, yeah. No.
The indicator of a great man is not only the men who choose to follow him, but also the women who feel safe with him.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's a cakewalk. It's easy to, I think it's easy for men to make friends because like we are accustomed to banter, constantly putting each other down, but at the same time building each other up, watching each other kind of go through the same struggles and stuff like that. So I think there's a deep bond and suffering when it comes to men. Um,
Mhm.
Not necessarily the most healthiest, but I still think it exists there. Um, but so I think it's easy for us to make friends and men to follow because we understand, this relationship through and through. You're gonna make fun of me when I fail. You're gonna help me when I really need help. You're definitely gonna be there, and we can exist in each other's space for no reason at all and say absolutely nothing for hours upon end and be perfect with that.
Yeah.
Um, but on the other side of it, or other side of the coin, is that women mm, will genuinely want to feel safe with you. Um, I just it kind of goes back to last time we had the conversation when Haley was telling me, she's like, sometimes you men forget that you're just scary. Like, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm scary. What do you mean? Like, it's like you're just a big guy. Like, to sometimes walk up and give you a hug, to see you. You're 6'5", like I'm five something. Like, again, at any point in time, like if we ever got into it, she's I don't stand a chance. So it is very much a situation to where women, even if you're, obviously not romantically involved and stuff like that, but for them to feel safe with you is a big thing because it's like, okay, you're not my
Mhm.
significant other, so you don't owe me anything. You're like, it's not your responsibility outright to protect me or defend me. But if a woman is in, you know, your constant vicinity or around your group of friends and she feels safe with you, give her a ride home or talk to you, which is an
Yeah.
even bigger thing, to be able to convey, her emotions and feelings of what she's going through, and she knows that you won't exploit them. Um, I think that's a really big thing. Like that's something to be respected because that just shows that you're not just a walking protector. Like you're a friend. You're somebody that she can confide in, and therapist, a listener. 'Cause that's all it is really, honestly, we
Yeah.
men don't need that. Respectfully, I don't need, you or Canvas or anybody to like come save me or anything like that. It's just like, yo, hey, listen to me complain for a little bit, and then you can be like, oh, stop being a little bitch, but I know that you really mean like, you got this,
Yeah.
bro. If you really need anything like physically or tangible, okay, I'll do the best I can to help you, but you know, don't give up just simply because you're going through a hard time
Mhm.
right now.
Yeah.
Um, but ladies is or for women it's different. They may want a man's perspective or to again still just have somebody who's going to listen. And maybe I've even
Yeah.
noticed sometimes with some of the young women that I've taught, which is surprising to hear, but I guess it does kind of make sense. Some ladies have just women have told me like, hey, sometimes women just don't get it.
Yeah.
And I would just want to have a conversation with a man. Maybe you'll understand a little bit better than
Mhm.
uh, a woman will. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. There's times when, um, not this doesn't go back to the safe thing, but just goes back to the communication thing of I'll be like my wife and I will be having conversations, and I'm like, "Yeah, this is how I would think to say something,"
Mhm.
and she's like, "Well, you need to think about how that comes across." I'm like, "Why don't you think about how that comes across? Like, this is just how it is." And if I try and tailor what I'm trying to say to make it seem nicer to somebody else, I don't think I'm being
Mhm.
genuine. But she's like, Yes, but if you're trying to say what you're trying to say to your sister or to your mom versus like your friend or your dad or whatever, it just comes off different.
Yeah.
So you have to like understand how you're saying things." And I'm like, "Why?" And I think that goes back to, you know, just not knowing, not talking enough, um not being in the situations to be able to also practice that respectfully.
Right.
Because not it's not like every guy in the world has like 4 women to go consult like all of his woes with like, how do I talk to women? Or like, how do
Mhm.
I talk like, if I say this to a woman, how does it comes across when I say it to one of my guys?
Right.
I'm not gonna know that. Um, Sometimes it's
Yeah. I
important
love.
that you have to go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say no. I'm blessed to have had the opportunity to teach so many women dance because um, I was unknowingly talking to them differently, and they actually asked me. Um, I mean, obviously, I'm blessed, of course, to have my mother in my life, and like I stand fully behind. When it comes to boys, your father's going to teach you how to become a man. Your mother will help train you to be a gentleman. Because obviously, the first person that you are a gentleman to is your mother. Holding her hand, you know, hugging her softly or whatever the case may be, not talking to her the same way that you would talk to your father or any of your boys and
Mhm,
stuff like that. The tone is significantly different, and she's going to teach you, or she should teach you, how to conduct yourself around young women. Because obviously,
mhm,
your boys are different versus how you talk to young women. And on the other
yeah,
side, as far as my daughter, like her mother's going to teach her how to be a woman. I should teach her how to be a young lady, as far as like how she conduct herself around other men, what not to do. Because again, she can walk around, prime example, like she can do whatever the hell she wants to around other girls and stuff like that, but when you're in public or you're in the presence of other men and stuff like that, you don't need to be too handsy feely or whatever the case may be. Make sure you obviously your dress is down, your legs are closed and stuff like that, you know, stuff like that. I mean,
yeah,
some of that stuff her mother can teach her and stuff like that, but I will also teach her like, where men's mind go. So you need to make sure
mhm,
that there's a line of just respect, a graceful respect
yeah,
between, you and a young man. So I was blessed to be able to kind of like, okay, this is how I kind of used to talk to my mom. I'm going to use this as kind of a buffer how I'm going to speak to the young ladies that are young women that are my students. And they even asked me
mhm,
like, you talk to me different than how you talk to um, the men in your class and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, for sure. And they're like, well, why? And so I'm like, well, it's not because you're not getting different training. Well, you kind of are because obviously our mechanics are different. But as far as in terms like I can tell that this young man, he likes to almost kind of be instigated or pushed a little bit. Like that's how he learns things because he likes to be challenged. You, on the other
mhm,
hand, and just my personal experience, I've just noticed that women are much better students because they are much more likely to take in information and be like, okay, I want to understand this in its entirety. Men are
mhm,
just kind of like, oh, I can kind of do it myself. Like I'll do it. That resilience, so to
right,
speak, or in that case, defiance or rebelliousness. So, yeah, just when it just simply comes to that, like the dynamics are just simply different altogether. So I'm grateful for the experience that I've had with a lot of women in the community and at home because it's given me a lot of perspective that I see young men don't have in this day and age, even in
yeah,
my age group.
fair, that's fair. Sometimes it's important that you have to remind people that you are indeed him.
Talking shit.
Yeah,
Talk your shit. Don't be afraid to man, it's really raining out here. Now I'm stuck.
I see it.
uh yeah, it's really coming down out here. But Texas weather. Um but yeah, no, just I mean, if you accomplish something, you worked hard for something, uh, which is something I had to learn despite how vibrant my personality is, I take that back. I know that men as a whole, when we accomplish something, I think there's kind of like that natural habit to kind of like, oh yeah, it's nothing. It's I appreciate it. Like we don't get excited about our accomplishments. Um,
Stay humble.
yeah, like, and sometimes I notice that's not good. Like you should be proud of yourself. Um,
Yeah,
and sometimes, like I know that's conditioning. We have to tell ourselves, like, hey, you did great. You did great. I feel like we have to do just the utmost. You have to be number one in everything. Like I got to win
mhm,
a super competition or something like that worldwide, like to truly celebrate or be happy about something. But if it's just kind of like even this, like me getting a new car, I was talking to Jada Instinct, and she was just telling me, she's like, "Oh, you should be proud of yourself that you got yourself a new car." And I was just kind of like, "Yeah." It's like, why are you acting like that? I'm just like, I don't know. It just I kind of get like this. I'm in this. mindset of thinking that like something bad's gonna happen. She's like, you got to get rid of that. Like
Yeah.
you're downplaying your accomplishment. You got the car, you're paying for it, you worked for it, therefore clearly you deserve it. Because I was driving the Ford, and it wasn't working out
Mhm.
very well. So those little accomplishments matter. You know,
Yeah.
everything doesn't have to be big, but when you accomplish something, like pat yourself on the back. Like you don't need to throw a parade, but it's just like sit in it for a little bit and be happy. Like
Yeah.
you are very much him or her.
Mhm. That I mean, that was me with the house, that was me with the promotion, that was me with a lot of things. I'm like, "Yeah,
Mm,
I did it. Cool. Next." Or, like, kinda thing. And I've had the same people tell me, like, "No, appreciate at least yourself, what you've done, even if you don't wanna say it that way, like, try and be happy about it, because
right.
you know you're happy about it, at least show it, right?"
Mhm.
Um, alright. Train the mind and the body will follow.
Easy.
Kinda goes back to the meditation thing.
Yeah, easy. That's and everything. Just your uh discipline over motivation.
Mhm,
Where motivation and inspiration fails, discipline picks up. No one I enjoy working out, but I don't enjoy the process to get up to work out. Once I'm in it,
mhm,
I'm good. I love that. But that rolling out of bed and kind of like, oh, so I've only gotten because nowadays for sure with this new schedule, because I work 3 a.m. I'm sorry, 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. So that means that I'm
mhm,
leaving an hour and a half before. So technically 2 o'clock till 4 in the morning. That's about maybe 5 or 6 hours of just like complete sleep. And then I'm hopping up
mhm.
working out. Y'all always see me in the vineyard working out. And then it's
Yep,
off to work immediately. That process to get up to work out sucks. It
yeah,
sucks. But I know that I'll have hip issues, knee issues, back issues if I put on too much weight. So I love working out. I hate getting up to actually do it. So
yeah,
train the mind to do what it needs to do and the body's going to follow. Your brain doesn't do anything. I'm sorry, your body doesn't do anything without your brain sending signals to do it. Literally
yeah,
nothing. So
yeah,
you have to do that. That's easy. Yeah.
yeah. Be careful not to fall in love with the image of a man, but respect and recognize the sacrifices one made to be seen as one. There is no one way to manhood.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody just don't fall in love with the image. You have no idea what that person did to get there. Um
Bro, every single time you see some more shit come out about your favorite YouTuber, your favorite content creator, your favorite politician, well, politician's easy, but your favorite, like, business owner, your favorite actor, actress, like, anybody, right?
mhm.
And I'm like, I mean, I didn't see that coming, but I don't care. They're a human. I'm sure they had some shit in the back. Like,
Mhm.
I probably have some shit in the back that I'm not even aware of that I have shit in the back. You might
Mhm.
too, so, like, it's it's so it's so interested in fan culture is interesting to me.
Mhm.
It's interesting to me, and I reject it completely in totality, but it's so interesting to me
Mhm.
for this reason specifically, because like, you don't know these people.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
now, I guess if you could say, "Okay, well, out of respect for the craft, I am a fan of the person," sure.
Mhm.
Why the fuck do you manage their fan page? Why do you have a separate, like why do you have a separate Instagram account dedicated to only posting images? Like, things like that, right? Like, that's where I'm like, you're all your time goes into this? Fuck.
Mhm.
Now, I know that's not the point of what the saying what your, saying was, but that's just where it takes me every single time. I'm like,
Yeah.
why are we such vehement fans of people, other people, not ourselves?
Yeah. Um
Like, why aren't you your biggest fan?
that's an excellent question, and I think it's just simply people aren't because they try and find themselves in other people. It kind of goes back to that build or destroy. Because if people don't process or cultivate their emotions accordingly, I think they can put false hope in places that it shouldn't be. You know,
Mhm.
you go from liking, or you go from respecting to liking to admiring to obsessing,
Yep.
you know, and after that, it's pretty much, it's dangerous after that, and I
Yep.
don't think there's anything, just outright being a fan and stuff like that. But when you start trying to find meaning in other people, outside of your family, or I'll say mainly your children, or your wife or husband or whatever the case may be. I think that's where you kind of start getting like the dangerous territory. So
Yeah.
I wish I had a psychology degree to tell you, but I do know it's just simply because there's something in someone else that someone truly desires, and the only way to feel like they have it is to obsess over this person. So,
Yeah.
but as far as going back to the point that you made, like, or the quote that I put on there, but we do very much just fall in love with the image of a man. It's funny
Mhm.
because I thought about that one because of there's this amazing saying in Bleach from this captain named Eisen. He said admiration is the furthest from understanding someone. Like, and he turns out to be a super traitor. And
Super
you know
ass villain, smart as fuck.
all right, arguably the number one
He knew
villain
not
in
to admire
anime.
people.
Right. It's just like, because you have no idea what that person did to get to that point.
Mhm.
It's a prime example. Like, one person I always think about is Keanu Reeves. People don't understand
Yeah.
like how tough Keanu Reeves' his life was. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're so humble, you're so chill and laid back, and you're on the subway." And he's although he's an A-list celebrity without a shadow of a doubt, like, he still conducts himself like a normal person. Like, in his was it,
Mhm.
and I believe it was in his first marriage, his child died, from an
Sheesh.
illness, and then his wife died late, or she fell into depression, and I think she later died in a car accident, if I'm not mistaken. Forgive me, Lord, if I'm wrong, but I know his first wife did pass away for sure.
Mhm.
But it was just like, you have no idea what he went through during that time period. Like, to lose a child
Yeah.
and to lose his partner, that's
Mhm.
you have to really think about like what that does to a person. Like, we lose our minds over breakups. You lose your job or your car
Yo,
breaks
people
down, or
crash out about losing a Fortnite game
bro, people crash out about
for
not
no
making it on a
money.
prelim for prelims.
People crash out for not even signing up for prelims.
Well,
Nah, that's crazy. Um,
so it just I don't
yeah.
you got to let that go. Like, don't fall in love with the image. You know, I think it's
Yeah.
okay to respect where someone came from, and their struggles. But I think to do that first, you need to know without
Mhm.
with absolute certainty what they went through, or to talk with that person, because like, it's like, look at all the people, like, you think about, like, people at one point. I remember rappers were like idolizing Donald Trump. We see who he is now. Conor McGregor, we see who he is now. John
Yep.
Jones, we see who he is now. Um, like, the list goes on and on and on and stuff like that. Like, you don't really know these people, but you love who they are in front of the camera. Like, oh, the greatest fighter of all time. Okay, well, he puts his hands on women. Dana White got caught on camera putting hands on his wife after, blasting another man in the UFC for putting his hands. Oh, he's scum. He's the worst person on earth. Da, 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 da. Got caught in the Vegas club slapping his wife in the middle of a casino.
Yep.
So you can't just jump to like, oh, I see who this guy is and I love him. I want to be him and stuff like that. You have no idea who that man is, or woman for that matter.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
don't idolize or fall in love with the image of people. Be yourself, learn
Never
lessons, and grow.
try and do something yourself.
That part.
I feel like, yeah, the attention economy has been really tough on people though, because like so many people are vying for your attention that you don't even have attention to give to yourself,
Yeah.
and that's scary. That's a battle I battle with every day. Because I like the reason why I like listening to podcasts is the reason why I made a podcast. the reason
mhm,
why I like watching people talk about books and listening to people talk about books is because I like reading books and talking about them. So it's like you really have to toe the line on how much attention are you giving to the things that motivate you to do the things that you do
right.
versus how much attention are you giving to yourself to then do the things that you do. Because then there's so many times that I'm like, I would rather just go listen to somebody else because I cannot make as good of a quality thing as they put out. And I'm
Right.
like, well, well, you never will. Your
Mhm,
attention's wrong. Your attention's somewhere else. Um,
mhm,
I do enjoy Tom Holland's story of he does act, but he's like, I just want to go back to my carpentry job. I like carpentry. Carpentry's fun. I like being a carpenter.
mhm,
I'm like,
mhm,
those kind of people I do end up respecting.
mhm,
Do I watch everything he's in? No, because I'm just like, I don't care. But the story of the man who, you know, likes to do the normal job and then does the acting job that he's actually famous for and then goes back to doing the normal job that he likes to do, that's kind of
mhm.
dope. That's
Yeah,
dope. And then,
yeah,
launching his own non-alcoholic beer and all that stuff, like cool things, you know?
he
He's
does
not
a whole
just
yeah,
he did do that. Biro, as they call it. Never haven't tried it. So, but yeah.
yeah.
He
Now one
hosted a pickleball turn or it was pickleball? No, I think it was paddleball. It might have been paddleball that he put on a tournament for the launch of Biro. He invited all the A-list people out to, like, play. I'm like,
that's
"Damn, you
dope.
got motion. That's crazy."
Yeah. But I mean,
Uh,
that speaks to, I think, like, the depths of him, like, I mean, or, him as a man, like, he's not one dimensional, like, 'cause I
yeah,
watch, you ever watched, The Actors Roundtable?
sometimes.
Um, well, you know, obviously, like, one of the questions that they always kinda I like when they kinda ask them, like, those really goofy questions, like, "Oh, what would you be doing if, like, if you weren't doing this?" And, like, some of the answers I've gotten are pretty crazy and pretty interesting. It's like, it kinda reminds you, like, okay, you're still just a regular human being just like me. Like, Jim Carrey is an
Yeah,
amazing painter. Amazing painter.
yeah.
Like, I remember seeing that one video of him just, like, kinda talking about life. Like, dude, he has, like, this really big room that's just dedicated to him painting. Like, he has it scattered across the floor. He's got, like, this, little scalpel that he kinda, like, lays on, and he just, like, literally paints. And it's
Mhm.
like a good, like, 12 feet long to where, like, he walks across it, lays down, and then starts painting on, like, this large canvas that's on the ground. Like,
Yeah,
they're very normal people just like us. And there's another guy that was on there as well. Um, I can't remember who it was, but I was just surprised. He's definitely an A-list, actor, and he was saying, like, he would be a carpenter. He's like, I like just working with my hands."
yep,
Some people are like, I'd be a fisher or whatever case may be. So, yeah, man, like,
yeah.
people just normal human beings, man. Like, acting is a passion for them, and it gives them the ability to do what they want. It's like, like, "Oh, money can't buy you happiness," but it'll definitely give you the opportunity to
Gets
be,
you closer
to
to it,
get
though.
some. Right. I would love to have, like, get into acting for about 10 years and then maybe dust it off and be like, "Okay, cool. I'm just gonna throw dance events until my
Yep.
days end."
I think
That'd
that's
be cool.
so interesting to think about, like, I'm always scared that I'm so late to doing something and I'm never gonna, like, succeed the way that I want to, and then I have to remind myself, "Brother, you're 28.
Right.
Think about every single person who came before you who hadn't even started what they're successful at your age."
Uh, what's his name? Samuel L. Jackson didn't get his big break until 42.
Yep,
Morgan Freeman didn't get his big break until he was 46.
yep,
Um, Viana Wang didn't get her first clothing line, or didn't make her first big pop as far as the fashion industry, I think, until she was 52. Like,
yep.
you can do
Some of
it,
my
bro.
favorite authors never started writing until they were 50,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
they're best-selling authors. So I'm like, I think where I scare myself is, like, because I have so much time, am I not using it the right way, you know? Like, the whole thing
Mhm,
of, like, I spent a year doing something, but I never improved.
mhm,
I get scared that I'm never, like, actually improving and I'm just doing the same I'm going through the motions, but not actually being present, thinking about it, and that's
mhm,
kinda where, like, the fear factor comes in of, like, am I not doing the right things? Not enough.
mhm,
I know I'm doing enough.
mhm,
I've fought with myself enough times to convince myself that, like, you are doing enough, enough is not the problem because you could, I mean, you could still do more, but you're doing enough. It's just, are you doing the right things
Mhm,
to then let time, you know, have to then let the factor of time benefit you versus, you know, I spent a year. I spent this entire 8 months posting a YouTube video on my book channel weekly, this podcast channel weekly to get not even like 100 subscribers added to like the
mhm.
channel. And it's like, fuck, am I not doing the right things? It was because I didn't tell myself, am I not doing enough? Do I need to upload like what, twice a week? No. I'm like, okay, am I doing the right things? Am I doing like the right videos, the right kind, that kind of thing, right? So the time thing always scares me. And then after that, it's like, am I doing it? Am I doing it the right way? To your point, there's no
Mhm.
one way to success, but like, there's got to be a way that I'm not figuring out because the way that I'm doing it is not working. At least it feels like it's not working. Well, once again, I'm 28. You know,
Yeah, you definitely got time,
what the
man,
fuck do I
and the
know?
content creator life is a difficult life, man, especially with everybody breaking out and also, man, and not to, to be demoralized or anything like that, but you also gotta remember is that, like, so to speak, the wave right now is constantly having a camera following you around is like more,
Yep,
what do they call it? Reality TV. Like,
yep,
"Oh, you're a book reader? Okay, well, cool. Well, put a camera on your back and let me watch you walk around the house and talk to people about books and stuff like that." People
yep,
more attracted to what you're doing with the book versus what the book is about.
yep,
So it it very much could be like kind of like a okay, what type of content you're putting, man. But one thing I've definitely learned, man, is that everybody's climb to the top is different. So
mm-hmm,
your pop could be next year, it could be this week, it could be 2 or 3 years from now, whatever the case may be. But I definitely know that you won't get there not doing anything at all.
exactly. Can't stop.
So, right.
Um, Cherish each moment you have with your loved ones. There's always someone out there doing worse.
Man, I get in trouble for this one a lot because people think I've been told is like, you don't always have to have like such that. Um, I've been told it's kind of like a negative mind frame to have. Like, don't always think about what other people don't have. The same way
Yep.
you shouldn't always think about what other people do have. Um,
Yeah.
but I guess I'm just kind of a bleeding heart. Like, I'm very much paying attention as far as like what's going on in Congo, what's going on, in Palestine, or what's going on across
Mm-hmm.
pretty much, down the street. You know, I think that you should just be grateful for what you have because there is always someone doing worse.
Yep.
Like, I, I wish without a shadow of a doubt that I was making more money right now, but last I checked, Sylar a month and a half ago had a car that was on the verge of breaking down.
Mm-hmm.
So I can at least even appreciate what I have now because Sylar a month ago didn't have it. So
Mm-hmm.
if I take that opportunity to look outside myself and look at other people, I'm blessed beyond measure.
Yeah.
So I guess I always have to keep that at the forefront of my mind of just kind of like, okay, are you trying? Yes, you're trying. Are you doing it in earnest? Yes, I am. Moving with integrity? Yes, I am. Are you hurting people along the way? No, I'm not. Okay. Well, then everything ain't got to be perfect.
Yep.
It just, are you trying? Yes, I am. Okay. Well,
Mm-hmm.
then a little bit more each day, and that's good enough.
Yeah.
Just appreciate what you got. It ain't always going to
Yeah.
happen right then and there. So yeah, I hate being around. I think that's my pet peeve in my 30s. I don't like being around ungrateful people.
Mm. I think, growing up, my dad was the same way you are, where a lot of the times when Um, we drink like chocolate milk in the morning, but it's like the milk that you pour a little chocolate powder into, put in the microwave, warm it up, take it out, drink it. So at the bottom,
Right.
if you don't stir it right at the bottom, there's like that like extra stuff at the bottom that doesn't taste the best because it clumped up and it's at the bottom. So a lot of
Right.
the times when I finish my milk, there'd be like a layer of like maybe this much left at the bottom.
Mhm.
And you look at me and say, "You need to drink that." I was like, I can't. I gag every time I do." He's like, "I don't care." Um, there's people out there in the world who don't even have this much.
Jeez. Oh,
Oh, that
oh,
happened real
pardon me.
time.
Right. Okay, sorry.
Um, but I always remember that because his whole thing was like, "There's people out there worse than us. We
Yeah.
always have to take care of our house, somebody else doesn't have it. Take care of ourselves because somebody else doesn't have it. Use our money correctly because somebody else doesn't have it. Eat all of
Mhm.
our food because somebody else doesn't even have the chance to eat a fraction of what we have." Um, but then over time, I was like, if I keep thinking about only that, I'm going to drive myself crazy. So then there's some decisions that I use that filter with, then some that I don't, because I was like, if I keep living life exactly the way of like appreciate this because somebody else doesn't have it, I'm gonna drive myself crazy on not knowing what I want to do. Really, am I doing this
Mhm.
because I want to do it? Am I doing this because I have to because somebody else in my position would want to do it also, type of thing,
Right.
right? Like so. But to your point, like I think it's a very helpful filter, helpful frame to think about, and I kind of live your life with because without it, you risk not learning gratitude. I'm a
Mhm.
like like you can't really learn gratitude unless you. I feel like gratitude is almost part of the comparison like frame because the only way you know what to be grateful for is because you know what wasn't once before.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So you kind of have to play the
Yeah.
comparison game, but like in a way of gratitude. Um, or I could just be saying shit. Anyways, just lay down and take a nap. Sometimes rest is the solution.
Man.
I feel so guilty doing this shit. I kid you not. This is one of the guiltiest things that I feel doing, but I'm sometimes like even in the middle of the day, I'm like, it's 2 PM. Why am I tired? But like I tell myself, you know, just go close your eyes for a little bit. It'll help.
Yeah.
If it does, great. If it doesn't, I'm like, damn, I wasted that time.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's and
No,
you
that's
feel
real.
guilty. Why am I tired in the middle of the day? For someone who works like a normal day, unlike you who should be tired in the middle of the day. You should. Um, but yeah, just lay down and take a nap.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you need it. Like, I can't imagine how many times, like, what they say, like, I saw a meme one time. It's like, you ever have so much to do that you just take a nap? It's just like, just lay down.
Yeah.
There's no point in stressing about it right now. You'll get to it, and you just might need to let go of that internalized pressure or stress upon yourself to get all these things done. And I've noticed sometimes when I just lay down and take a nap, I'm much more driven to get stuff done versus trying
Mhm.
to get it done just simply because of a time frame. It's like, all right, if I do this now, I'm not really driven to do it, but I'll get it done and I'll have much more time to rest, so to speak, or much free time
Yeah.
versus let me take the nap now. And then I wake up and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm motivated to get these things done. And I get them done and may not necessarily have the free time, but I just feel a hell of a lot less stressed about getting it done.
Yep. Yeah, I feel sometimes you just feel better doing it that way.
Mhm.
Like, at the end of the day, I would feel, like, a little bit more accomplished or just, like, better before I finally turn off for the night. Because 'Cause I'm like, I did everything almost happily, as opposed to
Mhm.
forcing yourself through the work, and then I can finally chill, thank God, type shit.
Yeah, agreed, man. That's why I don't just lay down and take a nap.
Lay down and take a nap.
It works wonders.
Speaking of laying down, a man who stands for nothing will fall for anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I mean, that's as simplistic as it gets, right? Like, I mean, I really don't know how to really elaborate on that one. I
I'm
mean,
just
aside
staying
from
quiet in case something comes to your mind. I'm just manipulating you to you to continue talking. I picked this up in speech class. Um, but I agree. I agree. You know what? We're gonna let that one marinate with people who listen, and we'll let them think about what they should think about when they hear that. Don't confuse unity with obedience. Most people seek authority without responsibility and accountability. Great leaders can't exist without first great failure.
I can't tell you how many times I failed. So, um, yeah, I guess I kind of learned that in Crump. In all honesty, we had a lot of people um, who paraded and protested for unity and for us to all come together in harmony and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um, but it's not what they wanted. They wanted authority. They wanted people to kind of like, okay, let go of the stuff that happened in the past and stuff like that, and just give me the same love and affection and respect and that you give all the people that did everything right, or the popular kids or
Mhm.
whatever case. It's like, no, bro, like we caught you stealing, lying and stuff like that, bad mouthing people. Like, it's like, no, we won't. I don't want to. No, we're not going to do that. There's no like us unifying and coming together and just being this one big happy family. Like, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
Like, it's you made your choices. I chose my own, how I'm going to respond to it, which is to go over left and keep it pushing, and it's kind of like I can't remember where I saw it, but like I want to say a villain said it, but he was like, don't confuse peace with quiet. Like,
Mhm.
you don't want peace, you want people to shut up, you want them to be quiet, like you want them pacified in a sense, like you want the authority to be like, hey, this is what it's going to be, now shut up,
Yeah.
you know like, and obviously we know that peace is a trigger word because everybody has an opinion about it. It's like, oh, peace is it's not real. It doesn't exist, and I get it. Maybe I'm watching too many animes. I've heard some dark philosophies like when it comes to peace and stuff like that. But um, I'll leave that one in the wind. I'm not
Mhm.
exactly too in depth as far as like what peace really looks like. Um, but as far as in terms of like people confusing like that unity is just, ooh, some people just vile when it comes to that. It's just like, how
Yeah.
dare you?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. But I learned that the most in the dance community, in all honesty.
Yeah. Interesting. I It's not related, but I always think about the the concept of, like, for a man to be successful, he first has to go through a graveyard of failures. Um, and I hear that a
Repeat
lot.
that one more time. Say that
For a
again.
man to be successful, he first has to go through a graveyard of failures. Um,
Yeah.
it's usually said in the world of entrepreneurship in terms of a successful, like an entrepreneur's first success has many more often than not come off the back of like seven other failed businesses, 10 other failed businesses, all that stuff. But I like to extrapolate that just to life in general in terms of like success anyway. Like you're going to fail more often than you succeed because all those failures you need in order to succeed. And so in the same way of a leader trying to lead, he can't lead unless, you know, first understanding and or having gone through failure.
Yeah. 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 I mean, without a doubt. I mean, that I don't know any great leader that hasn't failed before. Um, or any leader who I guess just doesn't have a very um yeah, that just hasn't doesn't really have a very, very, very close bond with failure. Because people don't. If you notice, like people don't trust anyone in this day and age that
Yeah.
they haven't seen suffer in some capacity or had some type of struggle. Like people
Yeah.
always question, like, "Oh, this person just got it right the first time." It's like, all right, how'd you get it right? The first
Mhm.
time. It's like either you were given the answer or you cheated your way. You know, So it's in my personal opinion, it's very much a situation to where like I personally believe like, yo, if you don't experience failure, you can't really truly experience like what leadership looks like. Because leadership is not just forward momentum. It is being able to navigate failure,
Mhm,
success,
mhm.
um, even stagnation, or even no progression at all. Like, where do you
Yeah.
go from here? And often a lot of times that is leading people. People are going to expect, like, okay, every situation that we run into, you don't have to have an immediate answer, but can you delegate that to somebody who does know the answer to this situation, make the best choice, and then proceed to take us in the right direction? So,
Right,
yeah.
right. This one's a bit of a long one. Bear with me, even though you wrote it. By the age of 30, you need to have gotten a colonoscopy, blood pressure, and sugar check, and a physical. Don't ignore the pain. Get yourself checked out immediately. It doesn't even have to be at the age of 30. Men think fighting through is a badge of honor, but it's also a quick pass to health problems and maybe even an early grave. Take care of yourselves, gentlemen, and stop eating that bullshit. Now, half of that we already talked about at the beginning, but I think there's still a
Uh,
lot here to talk about,
yeah.
especially about eating that bullshit. Stop eating those fucking Cheetos. If I see one more person at a fucking event with a bag of chips in their hand or some Takis or some other shit, I'm like, "Can you like, where's your apple, good sir?" Men, we can't be seen eating bananas in public, I get that, but where is your cut up strawberries?
uh, I mean, I'm guilty of the Cheetos bag. I'm
No,
not gonna
I am
lie.
too. I am too. I'm just putting it out there for us to be hold ourselves accountable. Like, I'm also guilty of it, which is why I yell at myself for it too. But, you know, I wasn't gonna say it. I was gonna sit on my high horse, but now I have to say it. Um, but no, like I don't like going to the doctor, I'll be honest with you. I hate going to the doctor. It's fucking pain. Half the time it's some dumb shit, and I spent my time waiting for some dumb shit. But I mean, I agree, like, it's important, and without it, you risk a lot of issues down the line.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even though that's a long, like that paragraph I just damn near wrote, like it's simple. It's not. You don't get cool points for fighting through pain that you can literally potentially go get fixed by going to see an
Yep,
expert or a doctor or physician, whatever the case may be. I get
yep,
it. Like, okay, you maybe you sprain something and you get through your work shift or something like that. Okay, cool. That's fine. Points for you, bro. But after that, go get yourself checked out. You know,
mhm,
don't just go, oh yeah, I'm gonna just go drink it off and you know, do something. Like go get yourself
yeah,
situated. The colonoscopy, men's, colon cancer, is it's real.
yeah,
Obviously, men, we don't like to talk about, our private areas and stuff like that, our genitalia, whatever, what's going on in our butts. Just being, frank, because again, we are too masculine to acknowledge that, hey, something's going on back there.
mhm,
Was it just yesterday? We're on, what is it? Are we at is it the 4 or 5 year anniversary? Chadwick Boseman passed away yesterday from colon
yeah,
cancer. So,
nobody
and
knew.
nobody knew. They were just, remember, they were clowning him on social media and stuff like that because he was so thin. But
Yep,
he fought through that for years, you know, and then it came out, after he passed away. So I think it's important, just, take care of yourself, man. And that's all there is to it. Like the last thing that anybody needs to hear is about you succumbing to something that was potentially preventable, but you couldn't got it
yep,
fixed. So don't be too manly to get help, period.
yep. Yeah, that's facts. Um, I'm going to work through some of my more favorite ones towards the end of this. We might not be able to get through all of it, but I
Hmm.
still want to talk about a few more. Um, Sometimes the worst thing you can do is the right thing, and the best thing you can do is the wrong thing. Let it simmer.
Say that one more time for me.
Sometimes the worst thing you can do is the right thing, and the best thing you can do is the wrong thing. Let it simmer. Were you
Yeah,
high when you wrote this?
no, I think I can't remember where I was at, but that feels like one of those like um that felt kind of like a hood moment, honestly.
Mm,
Sometimes timing and place are important. That's what it was. I was thinking about being in workspaces. You know, sometimes a lot of people cross boundaries, and sometimes the right thing to do is to check them immediately. But it
yeah,
may not necessarily always be the right environment because you you run the chance of disturbing the peace,
yeah,
as we talked about earlier. You
yeah.
know, sometimes peace isn't peace for everybody. Like what's
Mhm.
comfortable for you may not be comfortable for me. And I've had plenty of situations where it's just like, okay, the right thing to do right now is like, hey, stop, figure out who you talking to. You know, you're not gonna talk to her like that in front of me. You're not gonna talk to me like that. You're not gonna, the obvious stuff like, hey, I don't know what your tone is about. You're not gonna stereotype me or discriminate, just simply because whatever
Yeah.
beliefs that you have. Like sometimes checking somebody right there in the moment is the best thing, but it's the wrong thing, for the
Mhm.
environment. So
Mhm.
um, you're not always in the perfect scenario, but it is the right thing to do. Sometimes we men we'll lay down on the sword for somebody else. Often a
Yeah.
lot we're chivalrous. So yeah.
Fair. There was a I think about this a lot when it comes to my job. There was a time when, um, maybe a year ago, it was me and my staff level colleagues were having a meeting with a couple of people from management. Mm. And, they were asking, like, "What do you guys struggle with? What do you guys are facing? Like, let us know," and all these things. And you can't tell your management you're the problem. Um, so you had to, like, politically correctly get your way through it. But at some point, one of my colleagues who has now left out of his own volition, he was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna say it. Sit just sits with you for so long, and then you ask us when things are like, why things aren't done at a proper time. So it's like,
Mm,
can you help out, like, and that kinda stuff, right?" To which
mm,
then the management member was like, he was like, "Well, yeah, no, I looked at that thing. It was just really wrong, so I had to take a step back and think about, like, how like, what other questions we have and how to go about, like, fixing it before I send it back to you for, like, any other work." Um, and then there was a conversation there that was happening. But, like, he finally said the thing that people were like, all of us were thinking, like, "It's not our fault that things also get delayed. Like, it's not us. It's we get things to you. It sits with you. Um, and then you ask us where it's at, or, like, why isn't it done yet?" Um, so, like, and that I think back to that thinking, like, I think in that situation, probably one of the worst things he could have said, but I think it was the right thing for him to say at the time. Because he knew he was gonna be there for long anyway. Because so he was like, "I'm just gonna tell people things that I think they need to hear because I'm gonna dip anyway." Um, it has made it a little bit better for us now. Um, but I think about that a lot. I think about that often. You know, sometimes you try wacky things and wacky things happen. I have zero clue what happened, and I am now back at my place.
okay.
And this is how we're gonna close it out
For sure.
right here.